Hey everyone, this is the Millionaire Hippies podcast with your host, Boom Shikha, where we chat about spirituality, business, and health. We all want to live self-actualizing, fulfilling lives with joy, prosperity, and gratitude. Let's go on this beautiful journey together.
Hey everyone, welcome to another podcast episode. My name is Boom Shikha, and before we start, I wanted to ask you to support me on Patreon. It's patreon.com/boomshikha. All right, now that's done, we can move on. The next thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was the fact that there are a lot of people who are going to ask you this dumb question, and what you have to do is smile sweetly at them and then pretend like you didn't hear the question and move on. Because there is no need answering this question, because a lot of people have no idea why we're being creative, why we're doing all the different things that we do, and it's not for this particular reason. So let me explain. So what happens is, I have this podcast, and I've been doing it for a year now, as I said, and I love it to death. I love doing this podcast. You have no idea how much joy my soul, my spirit, my mind, my body gets out of doing this podcast. Recording the episodes, putting them out there, getting feedback for people, just in general, everything about it is something that I've been aspiring to do for decades now, but finally there is the infrastructure for me to do it in an easy manner without any problem, right? So I'm doing this podcast and I love it to death, and I have 100 episodes or more, blah, blah, blah. And so I tell people about this joy of mine. So I will explain it in this way. I'll be like, so I have this podcast and I've been doing it for almost a year now. And the first question, before I can even say the fact that I love it so much, is, are you making any money from it? Are you making any money from it? Are you making any money from it? It's like this automaton that has been situated in everyone's head, and it says, if you're not making any money from it, then you should not do it. If you're not making any money from it, then it's a waste of time. If you're not making any money from it, then you should just give up and move on to something different. And so this automaton keeps on talking and talking and talking and saying these silly things, these foolish things, and it makes us get away from things that we really, really, really like to do. And so I always have this response to people if they keep on prodding at me, saying that I love doing this podcast. I'll do it for the rest of my life, even if I never get paid for it. I probably will never get paid for it, perhaps, but it does not matter to me, because the amount of joy and happiness that I'm inculcating from doing this podcast is equal to millions and billions of dollars. It is not equal to anything that I can ever put a price on. The amount of joy and anandamides and endorphins and neuropeptides that are being created in my brain and my body because of the joy that this podcast gives me is equal to hundreds and thousands of dollars of cocaine, hundreds and thousands of dollars of mushrooms, hundreds of thousands of dollars of all of those stimulants. I don't have to take stimulants anymore because I love what I do. And this is not just related to the podcast. It's related to all the different things that I do. The video courses that I create. Everyone always asks the question, how much money are you making in it now? And I tell them, I want to explain to them, not everything is going to start making you money right away, and perhaps not everything will make you money for a long period of time. So many people that we know, so many people on this planet who are extremely talented, I say in quotes, and are extremely rich and famous for what they do, worked for 10, 20, 30 years without being paid for it, without receiving any accolades for it, without receiving any money for it. But they worked at it. They worked at it because they loved it. They worked at it because they knew eventually they will get paid for it. And they worked at it knowing that if they don't get paid for it, they're still going to love it, and that is what matters the most. They worked at it and they worked at it, and now they're in positions where they can command a high fee for whatever they're doing. But they still love it, and they're still going to keep on doing it, so that if something happens to prevent them from making money from it, they're still going to keep on doing it. And that is how powerful that is for them. That's how powerful they feel. That's how important that is. And so if you guys ever meet me, any of my readers, and if you ask me that question, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look away, or I'm going to send you this podcast, because I just cannot answer this question anymore without wanting to punch someone in the face. And I'm not being violent here, actually I am. But I'm just not even being sarcastic. I'm actually telling you the truth, because a lot of times I want to punch the living daylights out of you, because I want to punch that question out of your head. It's a silly, stupid question. It does not make any sense anymore. So are you telling me that the only things I should focus on are things that make me money right now? Those are the only things I should focus on? I've had so many people that I meet, so many older people who are in their 50s and 60s, and I tell them, oh, I love to write, and I love writing these novels. I've been writing a lot of science fiction novels about time travel and caste systems and things like that, and I've been publishing it on Amazon. Not making a lot of money yet, and I've been publishing it still. And a lot of them come to me and say, oh, you know what, I used to be like you. When I was younger, I had dreams about being published and making money from it. But then I got a job on the side because I thought, okay, I don't want to get paid for my writing yet because I don't know when it's going to happen. And then I worked 15, 16, 20 hours a day on my job, and I was too tired to work on my writing. And you look at me, here I am, I haven't written a single word in 30 years, right? And I think to myself, what are you doing exactly right now? What are you telling me exactly? Are you telling me to give up on my dreams and go find something that I can work at 15 to 20 hours a day so I'll be unhealthy, broke, and living in Chiang Mai like you because I can't afford to live anywhere else? Or are you telling me that I should find something that makes me money so that I don't have to worry about being in the same situation as you? Or are you telling me that I'm never going to reach my dreams? And if you are telling me that, then why are you telling me that? Did someone tell you that when you were younger, and is that why you want to repay this benefit to everyone else? When people tell me that you're not going to reach your dreams, or they tell me something that I affect, that, you know, I tried that, it didn't work out, so you shouldn't try it either, basically is the effect of it, then I think to myself, why are you doing that? Why would any person on this planet ever tell someone not to go for their dreams? What kind of human being are you? What kind of soul do you have inside of you? And how black is it that you're telling a person who is excited, extremely excited about what they're doing, and you're telling them to go give up on their dreams, go find a job that makes them lots of money, and they can work at it for 15, 20 hours a day, lose their health, lose their family, lose everything that's precious to them, lose their soul, and die unhappy? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Is that what you're aspiring for me to be? Is that what you think is the best way to support someone who is excited about their dreams, about their goals, about their life? And I always look at them and I give them the look that always shames them. And I want to shame them because I want them to remember the next time they tell this to someone else, I want them to remember to shut up, to shut their mouth and not say anything if they have nothing nice to say to that person. I am strong enough in my dreams and my goals and my life right now that if anyone says these things to me, I just laugh at them because I just cannot imagine me, myself, telling someone else to give up on their dreams and not do what they're doing, especially if they're extremely excited about it. What am I going to tell someone? Oh, you're never going to make it, so don't bother. I would never, ever in my entire life say those words to anyone because I know myself that I can never be sure of who is going to be successful and who is not. But I do know that the people who are going to be successful are the ones who stuck with it. The people who give up are definitely not going to be successful. So if there's a person who's being persistent, who's being consistent, and who's going on doing the things that they love to do, then they're more likely, 99% more likely, 100% more likely to be successful, more successful than the person who gives up. And so I want you guys to remember this, because there's going to be a lot of people on this planet, like the crabs in the bucket theory, where they're going to try and pull you back down to their level. They're going to tell you that you're never going to make it. They're going to tell you that you're not going to reach your dreams because they tried one thing a long time ago and it never worked because they tried it for a couple of months and it was too hard, so they gave up on it. But that means that every single person on this planet who tries the same thing should give up as well. And that's the twisted kind of logic that these people have. And I know that's a logic that they have in their head. And so as soon as I hear that, I walk away. I smile and I'm kind, but I don't listen to any more bullshit words coming out of their minds and their mouths because it's all nonsense. It is nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's all silliness. I cannot listen to anymore of that nonsense. Because not only am I going to be successful in what I'm doing, because I'm going to stick with it until I die, and I'm going to do it for the rest of my life because I love to do it. And I'm going to find other ways to pay for my expenses, which are not that high, because that is how I'm going to live my life. That is how I'm going to live my life. Why do you think, guys, I moved to Chiang Mai? From one of the most luxurious condos downtown Toronto where I lived, I'm living in Chiang Mai in a $200 apartment. It is nice. Don't get me wrong, it's really nice here. The apartment is really nice. It's a studio apartment, still beautiful. But compared to where I lived in Toronto and how I lived in Toronto, it's a definite downgrade. And I don't think of it as a downgrade because I'm doing so much creative work. But if you look at it from the outside, from my parents' point of view, from my family, from my friends, they all think I have downgraded. Why do you think I did that? Why do you think I moved from Toronto, one of the most beautiful, luxurious cities in the world, to Chiang Mai? Why do you think I'm living here right now? Because I want to make sure that my expenses are so minimal that I can work minimal hours on whatever I'm doing and have enough money to pay for all my expenses so I can spend the majority of my time working on my creative projects. That's all I want to do. I spend a majority of my day, which is perhaps 8, 9, 10, sometimes 15 hours a day. And I'm working these many hours a day, but I'm feeling so fulfilled, I'm so healthy, and I'm so vibrant. And I work on my video courses, I work on my podcast, I work on my writing, I work on my novels, I work on all my blogs and websites. I work on so many cool, amazing projects with other people. And I'm doing all of this because I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I'm willing to move to a cheaper condo in a cheaper country, in a cheaper city, because now I can do this for a full-time, almost a full-time endeavor. And that matters to me. I'm not going to listen to anyone who says it's not possible. Have you tried all of the eventualities? Have you moved to a smaller place? Have you moved to a cheaper country? Have you given up all of that nonsense that we put into our life? Have you stopped watching Netflix? Have you stopped watching TV in general? Have you stopped reading the news? Have you stopped wasting your time in procrastination and all that other stuff? And have you started working on the stuff that you really care about? The stuff that makes your heart sing? The stuff that makes your soul sing? Have you started working on that stuff? Because if you haven't, and you're not doing it as much as possible, do not talk to me about the fact that I'm not going to succeed. Because I am going to succeed. It's you who's not going to, because you haven't even tried. And not only have you not tried, but you're telling other people that they're not going to succeed. And that is the worst kind of karma ever possible. So I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're ever thinking about telling someone that their dreams are useless and they're not going to succeed and they're not going to make it because you tried one day in the far away past and it did not work out for you, that means it's not going to work out for them, then stop yourself. Stop yourself right there, because that person doesn't need to hear that. And they might not be as strong as I am. So they might stop doing what they love to do because of your foolish words. And that would be the worst kind of karma ever. Because can you imagine that this person might have become the best pianist or the best architect or the best whatever possible, but they gave up because you said that they're not going to succeed. So stop doing that to people. Stop telling people about your damn stories, because no one wants to hear your failure stories. Unless you learn something really awesome from it that you want to share with the world. But the fact that you're telling people not to follow their dreams because you specifically tried one time, a long time ago, and you didn't succeed, is nonsense. It's silliness. And I don't want to hear it from you guys at least. At least my listeners are never going to say those words ever again. At least my listeners are never going to ask a stupid, silly question. Are you making any money from it? Are you making any money from it? And are you making any money from it? Stop asking that question. Because that's not the most important question on this planet. There are hundreds and thousands of people on this planet who are making loads of money. Loads of money from what they hate to do. Loads of money from what they despise doing. Loads of money from things that are killing them slowly from the inside, rotting their brains, rotting their bodies, and definitely rotting their souls. Is that the kind of life you want to aspire to? Is that the kind of life you want to tell everyone to live? No. And I implore you to stop doing that then. Stop doing that. It's not useful, and it's actually detrimental to the rest of the world. It's detrimental to the dreamers out there. The dreamers who actually want to work on all of this stuff. No consequences to the world. They just want to work on their stuff. I just want to work on all of my creative projects. I don't care about anything else on this planet except working on my creative projects every single day. It's 7:50 a.m. right now in Chiang Mai, and I'm sitting here on my desk recording this podcast. I just woke up, I did my meditation, I did my journaling and my writing, and I'm sitting here recording my podcast. How many other people are able to bounce out of bed like I do, excited to get started, excited to begin their day, excited to start on their projects? How many of you can aspire to the same kind of feeling? And if you cannot, then don't talk to me about the fact that, are you making any money? Because the money that I'm making, the joy that I'm making, all the hormones, the awesome stuff, the happy neuropeptides, the happy hormones, all that stuff that I'm making inside of my body and my mind and my soul is worth, as I said, thousands and millions of dollars. It's worth more than any money on this planet. I look 10 years younger than I am. I look 10 years younger than my age because I am so excited and happy to be alive that a lot of people who were born in the same year as me look middle-aged, whereas I look like I'm in my 20s. It's because I love what I do every single day. And my body loves it, and my mind loves it, and my soul loves it, and because of that, I'm staying young forever. Now, of course, this is just a random aside, but I'm just showing you all the parallels. I'll walk down the street, and people think I'm still in university. And they ask me, what are you going to school for? And sometimes I'll just play along with them and say, I'm going to school for kinesiology, or I'm going for sciences, or whatever. And they never blink an eye. It's because I look that young, because I feel that young, because I have so much happiness and joy inside of me, guys. And that's just one of the things. It's just great to be alive. And I just wanted to share this with you. Stop asking those stupid questions, because that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're making money from it, because it doesn't matter, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future with that thing. You don't know what's going to happen in the faraway future from that thing either. So maybe you won't be making money from it for 4 or 5 years, but eventually all of a sudden you start making lots of money from it. Or you may never make money from it, but you love it so much that you gain such a great following that you're able to ask them to support you, like I've done with Patreon, patreon.com/boomshikha. And I can do that now because I've created a following that are willing to support me in this lifestyle, in this journey, in this creativity endeavor. I hope this makes sense to you guys. I really wanted to share with you. So no asking the question, why are you making any money from it? And no telling stupid stories from your past where you did not succeed, because no one wants to listen to that. Unless you have a really good lesson that you want to share with me, then share the lesson. But don't tell me not to do what I'm doing because you didn't succeed, because that's nonsense. I hope, again, this makes sense to you guys. Thank you so much for listening. Support me on Patreon, patreon.com/boomshikha if you guys are interested in helping me keeping on with this podcast and all the other creative stuff that I do. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening. Go check out my website at themillionairehippie.com if you want more free, awesome content. If you really like the podcast, please consider giving me a 5-star review on iTunes. Until next time, namaste.